Hello everyone, so today I wanted to talk about Khazan the First Berserker. Unfortunately, I just could not get through this game. I have tried twice now, but to no avail. I'm not really sure why. I think the game is well made. The premise is cool, some dude got betrayed and wants revenge, and gets help from a spirit from the underworld to try to fix some shit going down in the underworld. The combat is weighty and satisfying. The exploration is not great, but it does the job. The color palette, though, is not very interesting. Just a continuous mix of blues, greens, and grays with some browns. But the environments do stoke your interest a bit with ruins and rundown villages. I think that it is a competently made Souls-like. However, there are some flaws with the game that makes me unable to get through it. One thing is that the bosses and some of the normal enemies I think are way too tanky, especially the bosses. Like, they feel like damage sponges, especially those with second phases, and you feel like you have to play things extremely well or close to perfection in order to beat them. I prefer the Elden Ring DS1 style more, where depending on your build you can do massive damage. It makes it feel more sandboxy. Especially nowadays, I would rather fight a boss with interesting movesets and interesting designs rather than a boss that is super hard that you need to play extremely well to win. Kind of like the lizard that is being shown on screen. Like this boss, it feels like you have to play it super perfect in order to beat him. And nowadays, I just don't feel like playing bosses like that are super hard. If you want help, you can summon, but in order to summon, you need to fight a bunch of like these mini bosses to farm the Lacrimosa circulation, and that's just really annoying. You know, why not just give the player the option at the beginning? Another thing is that I think the enemy placements are really annoying. Either you get mobs that are easy to one-shot, but there's a bunch of them together, or you get the big enemies that are super tanky and do a ton of damage. There's never really a sweet spot I want for my Souls-likes, where there's enemies that can be threatening, but they're not overbearing, like in Khazan. It feels like the big enemies in Khazan are not worth your time fighting. My 10 hours of playing and enemy variety also feels really lacking. Either some humans, or an animal, or lizards, or something like that. And the big lizards are tanky and like they're not fun to fight at all. Drops I feel like are also not that interesting. Occasionally you'll get some stuff from the chests, but other than that they feel really lackluster. Especially since all kinds of armor and weapons, they all kind of do look like the same and they have the same like sort of style. It doesn't feel that fun to collect. I want my weapons to have variety and I want interesting armors to wear. Not the same mesh of like ancient armors or ancient like weapons that are typical barbarians would wear. I want something similar to like what Elden Ring does, where when you find chests and you find different weapons, they all have variety and all feel super unique. Khazan does not feel like a bad game. I think the quality of the game is good, and if you want a competent Souls-like, the game will do it for you, but unfortunately I just could not get through it. It has the same problem for me that Doom the Dark Ages had, where it is a competently made game, but the details and some of the features of the game make it hard to get through the game. I might give it another try in the future, but as of now, I unfortunately have to give it a 5 out of 10. Thank you for listening, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe or support me on Patreon. I would love to do this full time if possible. Thank you.